Wait a minute. This is why? This is why. Over here on Bloomberg, it says here Xbox's hike on Game Pass shows cost of lost Call of Duty sales. Okay, Microsoft's Xbox division surprised many video game enthusiasts this week when the company announced a 50% price hike to $30 a month for the highest level tier in its Game Pass subscription service. Online reaction was swift, with California Governor Gavin Newsom blaming the price increase on President Trump's tariffs and video game retailer GameStop posting a cartoon suggesting customers would be better off just buying games in stores. Well, I think that's what Angry Joe said. He said it's just cheaper to buy your games now. So the price hike and other changes to the Game Pass plan are a sign of Xbox's big streaming push not working, not generating the revenue it would like 8 years after the launch, according to interviews with 7 current, former Xbox employees. The company is putting some of its top-tier titles on the streaming service, but that's cutting into sales of higher-margin games like Call of Duty, which came with Microsoft's 2023 acquisition of Activision Blizzard Inc. Said the people who asked to not be identified discussing internal company matters. Xbox gave up more than $300 million in sales of Call of Duty on console and PCs last year, according to one of the former employees who asked not to be identified, discussing internal estimates. Game Pass hasn't delivered the explosive growth Microsoft anticipated post Activision. Yeah, it's like they wanted to be the Netflix of video games, and it's actually a good idea, I think, but it's not working, as you can see. Let's see. They realize their infrastructure costs don't align with their pricing model. The spokesman for Xbox declined to comment for this story. The company has largely lost the race for the dominance in video game horror. Yeah, I remember when they first came out, the Xbox Series X and the PS5, and even that dude I know is like really talking trash, like Xbox Series X was just going to blow everything away. It was like, look, just because it's more powerful on paper does not mean that the games are going to be better. We're going to have to wait and see. It's all about the games. It's all about the games. One can be a little bit more powerful than the other. It doesn't matter. Okay? And his mouth quickly shut. I didn't see him posting stuff no more. But yeah, like I said, I ain't turned mine on since I turned it on the first time after the unboxing. During the unboxing, I showed you the on screen and turned it on or whatever. I just haven't really felt a need to play on it. I probably would have by now, though, if they had an YouTube streaming app on it to stream my gameplay, like PS4 did, like PS5 does. I love how easy that is. I do. And think about it. Xbox, put us an app so I can stream to it. You have a Twitch one, you ain't got a YouTube one. That don't make no sense. Maybe you got one by now. I don't know. But I would play on it. Put the app on it. You know what I mean? I don't feel like streaming through my laptop. I don't feel like it. Like other entertainment companies such as Netflix Inc. and Walt Disney, Xbox launched its streaming service at a relatively low price. It costs $10 a month for over 100 games when it debuted. Wow. In 2017. Those were all older titles. A year later, Xbox announced it would offer subscribers its own new games on the day of their release for no extra fee. That's what probably got them in trouble right there. Currently, former employees said that the move was controversial internally. Developing new video games can take years and cost hundreds of millions of dollars, and the model had long been to sell them for $60 to $70 each, making more still on upgrades and in-game purchases. The Game Pass streaming model upended that by putting so many titles in an all-you-can-eat subscription. Putting Call of Duty on Game Pass was a great deal for subscribers, but not a great deal for Xbox sales of the game, according to the former employee with knowledge of the business. While the latest iteration of the shooting title, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, was the top-selling video game in the last year and the biggest ever for the franchise, that was largely due to PlayStation, which accounted for 82% of the sales. Man, subscription revenue was up 16% industry-wide, according to IGN, due in part to customers playing the new Call of Duty on Game Pass. It makes sense. Some may have paid for a month or two and canceled, unlike the industry's old model where they would have paid $70 and owned the game. Sony, by contrast, doesn't offer big new games like Call of Duty. Day one released on its subscription service called PlayStation Plus. Yeah, I know I have it. In September, former Xbox Game Studio Vice President Shannon Loftus wrote on LinkedIn that while Game Pass can claim a few victories with games that otherwise would have sunk beneath the waves, the majority of the game adoption on Game Pass comes at the expense of retail revenue. Yeah. Loftus declined to comment further to Bloomberg. So that's what it's all about. Remember when Sony was trying to block them from being able to purchase Call of Duty and all that stuff, and because Call of Duty was that big of a game, like I didn't realize it was that big of a game. Now this tells me it just reinforces that it is that big of a game. That is wild. That is wild. It's pretty pickle. I don't know what you're going to do, Xbox. I do not know what you're going to do. Post the comments down below. Let me know what you all think about this. If you enjoyed my thoughts on it, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Damn. 10 million subscribers. Woo.